The warnings of Solomon. Solomon had a lot of warnings for his child, and we will also be wise to pay attention to these warnings. Proverbs 1:8-15. My son, hear the instruction of your father, and do not forsake the law of your mother, for they will be a graceful ornament on your head and chains about your neck. My son, if sinners entice you, do not consent. If they say, come with us, let us lie in wait to shed blood. Let us lurk secretly for the innocent without cause. Let us swallow them alive like Sheol, and whole like those who go down to the pit. We shall find all kinds of precious possessions. We shall fill our houses with spoil. Cast in your lot among us. Let us all have one purse. My son, do not walk in the way with them. Keep your foot from their path. The Bible is the best book on guidance that has ever been written because the writers were inspired by God Himself. The book of Proverbs especially was written to collect God's rules for living. We don't want to turn out to live unhappy and unproductive lives. Solomon addressed this concern in his opening chapter with an interesting combination of terms. Proverbs 1:22. How long, you simple ones, will you love simplicity? For scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. There are 3 stages in the growth to a rebel: simple, scorner, fool. A progression that we must avoid at all costs. Part 1. The delightful simple. At its source, the term simple signifies open. It depicts a person who is readily led. A small youngster is open. In fact, you could almost call it naive. We all start out basic. Every child has a proclivity for folly. We are unable to raise ourselves. I'd like to highlight 2 of Solomon's phrases on right living: wisdom and knowledge. Proverbs 1:2-7. To know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding, to receive the instruction of wisdom, justice, judgment, and equity, to give prudence to the simple, to the young man knowledge and discretion. A wise man will hear and increase learning, and a man of understanding will attain wise counsel, to understand a proverb and an enigma, the words of the wise and their riddles. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. Knowledge is more than just facts. We live in the information age. Every day the amount of knowledge we have grows exponentially, but information and knowledge are not the same thing. In this context, knowledge refers to the acquisition of biblical truth for everyday use. To be wise literally means to be skilled with one's hands. It was applied, as described in Exodus 31, when God bestowed special gifts on the builders of the tabernacle and its furnishings. The acquisition of biblical truth is known as knowledge, while the application of biblical truth is known as wisdom. God never intended for us to be simple. If we don't grow over that phase, we risk never truly engaging with life. If we grow up but remain simple, all we know is the TV schedule, celebrity gossip, the latest technology, the nearest bar, and the next party. We never confront the big, deep-seated problems of human existence and what life is all about. Proverbs 14:15. The simple believes every word, but the prudent considers well his steps. First, we must be informed. If we do not receive the proper biblical teaching, we are exposed to outside influences such as the internet, television, music, school, and friends. Part 2. The difficult scorner. How long will the scorners take pleasure in their scorn? This is the second stage. If we are not properly educated in God's knowledge and wisdom and are unduly affected by extraneous sources, we will go to the second stage, scorner. The term refers to a mocker or scoffer. You've met a scorner. The person always has a scowl on his or her face. She's the know-it-all on the job. These individuals have all the answers but have no interest in morals, ethics, or spiritual matters. Instead, they seek out opportunities to criticize what is right. Proverbs 9:7 and 22:10 warns against the futility of trying to reach scorners. They must be broken by God. You must be aware of your friends. Proverbs 9:7. He who corrects a scoffer gets shame for himself, and he who rebukes a wicked man only harms himself. Proverbs 22:10. Cast out the scoffer, and contention will leave. Yes, strife and reproach will cease. Part 3. The Fool. Fools despise knowledge. In reality, the Bible doesn't hold out much hope for the fool. The fool's problem is not one of the mind, it is one of the heart. Fools ruin their own lives and the lives of others around them. We must understand that friendship in exchange for stupidity is not friendship. Proverbs 14:9. Fools mock at sin, but among the upright there is favor. Proverbs 1:10-15. My son, if sinners entice you, do not consent. If they say, come with us, let us lie in wait to shed blood. Let us lurk secretly for the innocent without cause. Let us swallow them alive like Sheol, and whole like those who go down to the pit. We shall find all kinds of precious possessions. We shall fill our houses with spoil. Cast in your lot among us. Let us all have one purse. My son, do not walk in the way with them. Keep your foot from their path. The fool is taken in not just by the enticement of vice, but also by the imprisonment of sin. Proverbs 26:11 offers a vivid, nauseating picture of a fool's constant return to his errors. You don't want to raise a fool. But how exactly? Proverbs 26:11. As a dog returns to his own vomit, so a fool repeats his folly. Proverbs 1:7 essentially says, win your children to Jesus. Ecclesiastes 12:1 informs us that the suitable moment to win someone to Christ is when he or she is young. Proverbs 1:7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. Ecclesiastes 12:1. Remember now your Creator in the days of your youth, before the difficult days come, and the years draw near when you say, I have no pleasure in them. Solomon had a relationship with the Lord in his early years, but he drifted away from God and began to live from a completely earthly perspective. You who are young, be happy while you are young, and let your heart give you joy in the days of your youth. Follow the ways of your heart, and whatever your eyes see. But know that for all these things, God will bring you into judgment. What an important message for today's youth to hear. Pay close attention to what he says now. Remember God first and foremost, he continues. Keep his name in mind, and he admits that he had forgotten about him. Of course, this is why God isn't mentioned in Song of Songs. He had forgotten about God while young and in love. And all he could think about was this girl. Just remember God while you're young before it's too late, he advises youth. Fear God, he says a second time. You should not only remember him, but also fear him. According to the Bible's wisdom literature, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. The Bible will teach you what it means to be wise.